Welcome to a Eastern Conference Finals Game 1 edition of the Celtics Roundtable on CLNS Radio. Holy moly, people. It's LeBron time. I don't know about you guys. It's been a pretty exciting last few days up here in Celtics land. I know the brothers Ignal are excited as well. I'm Jonathan Levy. I'm joined by those indeed brothers Ignal, Jonathan and Matthew. We're really excited for this game and this series. This is a big mountain to climb, boys. I don't know. I'm not the most optimistic about it, but I will say this. If the Celtics lose game 1, you can take that number 1 pick and throw it in the damn trash, because I don't even want it anymore. I don't want anything to do with Markelle Fultz if we can't win this game. That's me. But Matthew, what do you see as the keys to this game and this series?
Wow. But before we get into this, if you haven't listened to our draft lottery reaction extravaganza, be sure to download that podcast. It aired just a few hours before this one is. But keys to this series, obvious. LeBron James, who's going to stop him? The Celtics are probably going to throw a lot of bodies on him. I imagine Jay Crowder's going to get the first crack at him. He historically hasn't done too well against LeBron. There's really only a few guys in the league, maybe 6 or 7, who are able to at least slow him down a little bit. I'm thinking about Andre Iguodala, Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, Paul George, maybe PJ Tucker, maybe a little bit younger Tony Allen. I don't know. I'm not sure Jay Crowder, for all his defensive gifts, is one of those guys. But he's going to get a crack at him. Marcus Smart's going to get a crack at him. Jaylen Brown's going to get a crack at him. Maybe Avery Bradley, though. He's certainly too small. I wonder, are the Celtics going to be able to slow down playoff LeBron, who is absolutely tearing it up in these playoffs, looking like, well, himself? Do any of these defenders have a chance against possibly the greatest player of all time?
By themselves, no. However, we've seen the Celtics be able to lock in, and if they play as a team and they make the right reads, really crisp on defense, they have a shot to contain him. However, the Cavs are a really good team, and for me, the Celtics need to win game 1 if they're going to have a chance in this series, because it feels like the Cavs haven't played in a month. They're probably still all on vacation.
By the way, the Cavs have played 8 games in the last 40 days.
Yeah, didn't that stat come out a couple days ago?
Maybe.
Yeah, so add a couple days to that.
I'm pretty sure LeBron will have had 9 days off since his last game, which is exactly what you don't want from the guy who's I think he led the league in minutes played per game somehow, some way. He's had maybe his best statistical season ever this year, even though he wasn't really. Regular season. He was amazing in the regular season.
If you say so. He was like shooting 60% in a couple of those Miami years.
Okay, he averaged almost 9 assists and 8.5 rebounds per game this season, man. He's never come close to those kinds of numbers before. Well, close is relative, of course. He also shot well from three-point range, kind of for the first time ever, give or take, 36%. But to me, the big things, LeBron's going to get his, and you can only do so much about it. So I think it's about just forcing him to shoot from the outside and hoping they don't go in. That's all you can really hope to do. It's sort of like John Wall in a lot of ways. To me, the other big keys to this series is really about not giving the Cavs wide open looks from 3, which is going to be tough if you're trying to stop LeBron from penetrating all the time. But the Cavs are an extraordinary 3-point shooting team, not just good, extraordinary. They shot almost 38% from 3 this season. That's crazy. Of course, since he joined the team, almost 49%. It's brutal. Oh, the other big problem is they have a great rebounding front court. That's another little problem the Celtics really have had issues with all season. But Tristan Thompson over 9 boards a game. Kevin Love over 11 boards a game. LeBron has a bunch too, as I was saying. It's almost 9 for him, or 8.5 anyway. That's going to be tough. Man, the Celtics are going to have to shoot like fire from 3-point range, I think, also. This is just a tough freaking road.
Yeah.
Just looking at the matchup, we're thinking, right, Avery Bradley going to get the start on KYRIE Irving. Isaiah takes JR or Shump, whoever they roll out. The small forward spot, LeBron James will be guarded by Crowder. Amir Johnson on Tristan Thompson. And does Al Horford go on Kevin Love?
Yes.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, Tristan's too physical. That's just such a tough task to compete with those guys. They have the shooting, they have the rebounding, and they have the best player in the series. And we all know if it's JR or Shump, they're going to be setting screens on Bradley, switching Isaiah Thomas onto LeBron James, and they're going to run that play early and often. And How did the Celtics stop that or contain that?
I think you're going to see something a lot like the Wizards series where neither team can really stop each other. The Cavs, as we know, are not a great defensive team, although they flipped the switch. In the playoffs, it was more flipping the switch on the offensive end. Unless the Celtics go randomly cold, I fully expect the Celtics to continue to put up points. The problem is that Cleveland is even more talented offensively, and LeBron has this sort of aura about him where it seems like he's very difficult to beat. Let's just put it that way. One thing going in favor of the Celtics is that there's a couple easier hiding spots for Isaiah Thomas. They don't have like a Bradley Beal on their team.
It's playoff season, and having the right players on the court will be key to success. The sharp outside shooter or power rebounder, or Markelle Fultz, can be the difference between winning and losing. Business isn't any different. Your company needs the right people to be the best. So where do you find the top talent? Why, at ZipRecruiter.com. You can post your job to 100-plus job sites with one click. And then their powerful technology efficiently matches the right people to your position. And right now, all y'all out there can start forming your own winning team on ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/sportsfan. That's ZipRecruiter.com/sportsfan. You get to try it for free today, courtesy of the Celtics news feed at ZipRecruiter.com/sportsfan. The Cavs have them in pretty much every department. The Cavs, not only are they the more talented team, the better rebounding team, the better shooting team. They've got the best player on the floor by a mile. They also have all the experience in the world. So nothing is going to throw them. They know they're champions. LeBron's been to the finals. This is going to be 7 times in a row, assuming he does ultimately get through the Celtics here. I mean, the expectations are sky high for this team, at least to get to the finals. And the Celtics are not really built to beat the Cavs yet. Maybe in a year or two. But, like, the way the Celtics beat the Cavs this time is, like, Tyler Zeller grows up immediately. Like, I don't know how else. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Zeller actually shows up in somewhere in the first 3 games and starts playing some meaningful minutes, because I'm concerned about Tristan Thompson just destroying the Celtics on the boards.
And Tyler Zeller is your answer?
No, he's not my answer at all. I would stay small, but I've seen Brad do this numerous times where when he feels like the big men are just killing him and the other team isn't willing to switch out their big men, he just throws Zeller in there just hoping, against hope, that something's going to happen. And what happens is Zeller takes 18-footers and, it's brutal. But I wouldn't be surprised, especially we've seen Brad go to Gerald Green. Who would have ever expected that in the first series? Like, that was crazy, and it worked. I don't think the Zeller thing will ever work, but I don't know where else Brad is supposed to go. It sort of reminds me of Scotty Brooks in the last round, where it's like, well, Gortat is not really built to stop a 5-out team, and neither is anyone else we can put out there. There's nothing I can do as a coach, Scotty Brooks must be thinking. And Brad Stevens is going to be finally limited. While his team is extremely flexible, they're just not built to be big men who can rebound and brutalize you, and also, like Kevin Love, shoot the 3.
And, Tristan Thompson's no Jan Mahimi. He can compete on the defensive end at the perimeter. So I don't think Kelly Olynyk, Mr. Game 7, will have the same feast on the Cavs.
Most Cavs experts are actually saying that Tristan Thompson's defense fell off a cliff in the second half of the year.
Kardashian? Is that Kardashian related?
I think the curse is real. It might be material in nature, but
look at Lamar Odom.
there's a trend there. How about these odds? Plus 500 for the Celtics, minus 700 for the Cavs. Levy, as a betting man, where do you fall? Would you bet on the Celtics?
I would not. I mean, that means that they're supposed to win 1 out of every 7 times ultimately, right? Because that means they'd be minus 600. The Cavs would be, because you put the two together and average them. I would not bet on the Celtics. The only way the Celtics get out of this series, realistically, I'm sure Zaire would say something differently, but for me, the only way they get out of this series is LeBron James gets hurt. If LeBron James is a full-on man, as he's been in the playoffs every year for 7 years in a row now, I don't see how they can beat him. They're just not fully formed yet. That's okay. They're so far ahead of schedule, the Celtics. Everything's going right. They've already won the finals as far as I'm concerned. Like, they just had 2 great days in a row of beating the Wizards, getting the number 1 overall pick. That was it. We've already achieved the best case scenario, which is good, because I think we're going to get cleaned up in this series. I really do. I want to be wrong. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, Kyrie could go down. Kevin Love can go down. I don't know if it really matters. Yeah. This is LeBron's time.
It's too soon.
It's just really hard to imagine a scenario where the Celtics can win 4 games against the Cavs.
The rumors of the decline have been greatly exaggerated.
Yeah. I mean, I'll feel great, and this is a sign of sort of like my just happy to be here syndrome, which is I'm sure the Celtics don't feel this way, so I feel like I'm allowed to feel this way. It's okay because I don't affect anything. But man, if they take one of the first 2 games in Boston, I'll be thrilled if the Celtics can do that. If they win game 2, good. We're not going to get swept. This is a great start. You know, like that's what maybe we'll win game 5 and take it to 6. That would be incredible. Like that's what I'm down to. The Celtics maybe can win some games just by shooting red hot from 3. I mean, it's hard to, if a team shoots 50% from 3-point range or 55%, they often win the game. So maybe that'll do it for the Celtics too, but they're going to have to play out of their frickin' minds and have LeBron and company have sort of C-level games, and I just don't see it happening. This is the time of year LeBron waits for. The Cavs won 23-23 over the last 46 games, and it wasn't because they were trying real hard. They finished 500 anyway. They said, Celtics, please take the number 1 seed. We don't care because we know we're going to get by you anyway. Home court advantage means nothing to us, and sadly, they're right because we're still in prime LeBron.
I just went to the Nets subreddit. It's Pepe sticking a fork in an outlet.
Nice.
Who's Pepe?
He's a fascist frog.
Yes, that's exactly right.
That wasn't his intent, but the alt-right.
Who came up with Pepe?
Pepe was he was appropriated by Trump supporters. And maybe not all Trump supporters, I shouldn't say that, but like racist Trump supporters anyway. And they began to use him as a mascot to the point where he was actually classified as a hate symbol by the Southern Law Poverty Center. True story. How do you not know any of these things?
I don't know, Levy.
Did you say Southern Law Poverty Center or Southern Poverty Law Center?
I said the Southern Law Poverty Center, but maybe it's the Southern Poverty Law Center. What do you want from me? I live in Portland. I can't believe I got that much right. The one we can always, don't forget, no matter how this series goes, we can always feed off the angst and sadness and depression of Nets fans for we got another year of this too. It's just going to be amazing. And if Fultz or whoever they end up getting with the number 1 pick, be it in trade or with the pick itself, is as good as it looks like the guy has a great chance to be, they're just going to be depressed for the next 10, 15 years. So, I mean, we have that going for us too. We always have that. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Anyone got anything else to mention about this Cavs series, about Game 1? I feel like for me personally, Game 1's always like a feel it out type of game, and I just haven't had the time with this draft lottery in Game 7 to really think about all the machinations that we might see in this series. But I think it's going to be the usual stuff for the Celtics: limit turnovers, limit layups, and limit the 3-point shot. And Brad Stevens has been pretty good in these playoffs at limiting, or Brad Stevens and company have been really good about limiting those 3 things. So I imagine that's going to be emphasized. And, although I don't think anyone's really too confident in this series, maybe outside of Zaire and the Celtics, I just hope the Celtics don't get embarrassed. And, if they can strike a little bit of fear into the Cavs, who knows what could happen over the summer.
That sounds reasonable. Those are like good, solid expectations for the Celtics. Like a good goal to have is we just want to strike a little bit of fear. That's possible. I mean, I will say this.
Let them know we're coming.
Yeah, right. Brad Stevens is got to be like such a better coach than Tyronn Lue, as far as I can tell anyway. Based on or maybe I shouldn't even say Tyronn Lue. Maybe I should say LeBron James. But Brad Stevens is a better coach than LeBron is, and Tyronn is. So like, that maybe Brad Stevens can cook something up in his laboratory to give the Celtics a little bit more of a fighting chance, a little bit more of an edge, like a puncher's chance somewhere. That is going to do it for Celtics Roundtable. For Jonathan Ignal, Matthew Ignal, I'm Jonathan Levy. Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow where we're going to be breaking down Game 1, a probable Celtics victory, at least we hope. But we're going to break it all down there. Also, check us out on Twitter. We're at CLNS Roundtable. You can get us on iTunes. If you like this show, definitely give us a 5-star review if you want to. No pressure or anything like that. And we'll see you tomorrow.